Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I'm going to say it every opportunity that I can. I don't take days for granted. I don't take you for granted. And I will continue to remind you that you are healthy, you are wealthy, and you are prosperous. Everything your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you are great. You are created in greatness. You are created in love. You are created as the head and not the tail. You are created above and not beneath. You are in a fixed fight. And guess what? You already won. All right, Meal Prep Monday. And last week, I told you, we had to ultimately be a good steward over our soul. If we become a good steward over our soul, we will be a good steward over our finances. Okay, it's the month of April. April is deemed the financial literacy month. And so what not better to talk about but financial prosperity. And you have to understand that with Jehovah God, there is a law. There's a financial prosperity covenant, and God can't lie. All right. So when we begin to understand what financial prosperity really looks like, we'll have the overflow of it here on earth. And so last week I said that you have to be consistent and you have to be disciplined. All right. And I know that I want to talk to y'all about finances, but I can't get off of the discipline. I can't get off of the consistency. If we can't figure out that part, then even if we're able to get our finances or get somewhat of an overflow or get more than what we put out, it may not necessarily stick. All right. Anything that you steward, the stewardship has to be you first. All right. You have to walk in discipline. You have to walk in consistency. All right. If you don't do that and you're not disciplined enough to be consistent, when your consistency stops, your desire will lessen. Okay. When your desire or your vision of something lessens, then you'll have the outward product of that. Your money will decrease. All right? Because here's the thing. With desire, when you desire something, discipline has to coexist with it. You have to have discipline with whatever you're desiring. It's easy to desire. The desires of your heart come from who you were purposed and created to be. So that's easy. All right. Now, for some, it may not be easy to see it from the end versus the now. Okay. That's what we have to do in our natural state. I say it all the time. We're spirit with soul wrapped in this flesh. The desires of your heart comes from your spirit. Okay. Naturally, we've got to learn to write the vision and make it plain. Naturally, we've got to learn to expand the desire past what we could think and or imagine, because that's really who we are. Man, this is going such a different way. But listen, desire with discipline, you got to have them both. Okay. So some people, it's easy, we may call them dreamers. All right. It's easy for them to dream big and think big. There's nothing wrong with that when it comes from your desire, but without discipline coexisting with it, it's only going to go so far. All right. So you got to understand that discipline helps you with your process and it helps you with your thoughts. There's nothing wrong with dreaming big. You should dream big. You should see yourself with many mansions. I believe that everything that we receive in heaven, we can experience it here on earth. We're We're spirit. All right. We're supernatural naturally. We can bring heaven down. All right. So discipline, it helps us with our process of, it helps us with our thinking. It helps us with our thoughts. Okay. Discipline creates the lifestyle that you want. So when you desire it and when you're thinking it, and this is all, see, we got to get this part. We all want the money and we want the things, and hear me very clearly, because I want the money, but I don't chase money. But I believe I was created for money to chase me. And if it's chasing me, I want it. So let's get this perspective clear on what I'm saying. But I also understand that in order for it to chase me consistently, I have to be disciplined with the desire and the purpose that I see. I hope this is making sense. All right. So discipline will help us create the lifestyle that we want. What do you want? What does your legacy look like? And what are you doing consistently in a disciplined way to manifest it, that it's here even after you're gone? All right? It's through discipline that you become. It's through discipline that you be. Become and be who? Become and become what? You be who you're called, who your purpose to be. Okay? This journey is simple, but what's simple to do is also simple not to do. Shout out to Riyad Jones. He said that years ago, never left me. All right? So we just learn to be. When we can discipline ourselves, when we can be consistent with the discipline, when we're doing our morning routine, when we're starting our day with affirmations, when we're setting and aligning our day in our predestined footsteps, discipline helps us be. If we become all that we see and that we desire. The things that we see and that we desire, the things that we're supposed to give back, requires one tool of many, and that's money. Money is just a tool, okay? It's a tool that we use to walk out this journey and the things that we desire. All right. Desire without discipline will only create delays to your desire. Desire, not paired up with discipline, will equal delay. How can I say that? Because when you desire something, you see a thing, but you got to go get the thing. And if you can get it today, then your desire is not big enough. Got a piece of hair. If what you're seeing and what you desire, you can fulfill it today, it's not big enough. If your desire is $1 million and you fulfill it today, then $1 million ain't big enough. When you have a desire, it should be something that you're striving for, and then you have to have the discipline to get you there. And it should be a journey. Because what you don't understand is through the journey, you're rewarded. You do know that your reward is not the end. Your reward is through the journey. You receive the reward. You receive the benefit. You receive the end through the process. That's a whole nother Monday. All right. If we're honest, matter of fact, let me pull this up before I say it, because y'all ain't about to be slapping me in cyberspace. Hold on. Because, through personal growth and self-development, I say it all the time, the BIBLE, that is the book for me, all right? I read Dr. John or Dr. Miles Monroe. I read John Hagee. I do personal growth and self-development with Napoleon Hill, all these things, but the Bible, that's the book for me. I'm gonna pull this up before I say this, because then I'm gonna give it back to you from the one who created you. All right. So most people don't have success because they're lazy. Lazy. Good old Proverbs lets us know. Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you lazy bones, how long will you sleep? When will you wake up? I didn't say that. Proverbs 6 through 9. Go read it. All right. So most of the time we can't get to success because we're lazy. All right. We procrastinate. We don't have the discipline of being consistent in what it is that we desire to have. And we don't have the discipline to continue to keep getting up, continue to keep pushing forward. If it doesn't happen when we want it to happen, the way we think it should happen, every time we hit a hiccup or a bump in the road, we're like, boom, that's the delay. It's not because of the hiccup or the bump in the road. It's because of the lack of discipline. Keep going. If there's a bump, if you driving and you trying to go somewhere that you ain't supposed to be going and you hit a bump or a pothole, you don't even stop to check the car. All right. So when we're not disciplined, when we're not consistent, we're just going to continue to delay what's already ours. You know that financial prosperity, overflow, abundance, wealth, they are your portion, because wealth comes from within. So when we cannot be disciplined of the plan and stay consistent of the plan, this is why you should have a budget. All right. Budget is not a bad word. It's a blessed word. This is why you should care about your credit. You see your credit score all the time, but you do nothing with your habits, but you want the score to change. You don't educate yourself, but you want something to be different. All right. All right. So these types of settings, our morning mindset call, what time is it? 10:15. I bet y'all wish it was 10:30. Listen, this is what we consider motivational. All right. It's going to motivate you one way or another. You're going to get mad at me and you'll get mad enough that you'll prove me wrong, or you'll be glad with me and you'll prove me right. All right. But motivation is what gets discipline going. I'm sorry. Motivation is what gets you going. Discipline will keep you going. So we'll get together and we'll, talk about this, and it's like, yes, and I gotta be disciplined and I gotta be consistent, and I'm gonna go write my budget, and I'm gonna write out my morning routine, and I'm gonna put my affirmations on my wall, and I'm gonna do it for the next 21 days. Nope, I'm gonna do it for the next 30 days. I'm gonna do it. We get motivated, but without the discipline, we won't keep the motivation going. All right? We won't keep it going. So you got to remember, and I say this all the time, you become what you think about the most. All right? So you got to get this, you got to get this vision, this picture, this desire of where you want to be financially. Okay? You got to get it in your mind. and you got to think on that thing. You got to be disciplined in writing the vision of it, making it plain. What is it that you want to leave as legacy? What does it look like? Then you got to repeat. You got to keep it. You got to repetitively think about it. Repetition is the key to anything. Okay. So if you know that part of your legacy is to leave, my mom, she had purposed in her mind how much she was going to leave each grandchild, and she fulfilled it. She has 2 from my sister, 2 from me, and she had a financial goal that has nothing to do with what she's leaving for me and my sister. She had it in her mind. She had the goal in her mind for me and my sister when she had 2 children. It didn't just start. She literally worked her whole life for what she had in her mind for us. Wow, that's a revelation that just hit me. And then as we had children, she began to know what she wanted to leave them. Listen, all right, you become what you think, all right? The level of your awareness will become increased. See, when you have it and you're repetitive of it, you become more aware of it. Then you're going to get to a point where whatever you have to do to finish it, to fulfill it, it'll start bubbling up in you. And then your consistency becomes easy, because then it becomes a part of your character. It becomes a part of your lifestyle. And then once you are able to do it, you're able to take this same route, and you begin to apply it to every area that you are desiring something in. I'm just speaking about the finances because it's Financial Literacy Month. That's it. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. Because at the end of the day, it all comes back to mindset. Okay? So now, y'all go back and listen to this, because that's a lot. But I do want to talk about financial languages for the next 6 minutes. All right? And anyone who's done finances with me or even been listening to the call, I tell y'all this every year. But by faith, I believe this year you're going to grab it. All right? So just like there are love languages, you have financial languages. Okay? You have financial languages. And what I want you to know is, and this information, shout out to Tara Jackson, a girlfriend of mine wrote a book. She's written 2 on financial fornication, really good, about the STDs of finances. And then she wrote a book on the 4 financial languages. All right? So there are financial languages. They're saving, spending, investing, and giving. And your financial languages are usually created by your environment, education, and experience. Okay? So you're either a saver, a spender, an investor, or a giver. You're dominant. Okay? Because the whole thing is you want to be a part of them all, but each one of us have a dominant personality. Just like with the love languages, you have a dominant love language, but you may tap into all of them or a couple of them. There's a dominant language that you have financially, and it's good for you to learn this, because then it makes it easier for you to communicate even with other people and the language that they have. Because the difference with love languages versus financial languages, it's learned behavior. Okay? Your love languages it comes from the creation of you, and then it's molded as you grow. Financial languages are actually created by and influenced by, the environment, your education, and your experiences, okay? And then your goal is to be financially bilingual. You want to be financially bilingual. In order for you to sharpen that tool, in order for you to get the greatest out of it, you want to be financially bilingual. You want to tap into them all, ultimately, goal being a giver, but a disciplined giver, a giver, because we were created to give. God gave, all right? He gave, and we are little gods, little G's. You want to give, you want to build kingdom. And in order for you to build the kingdom here on earth, you have to be in a position where you can give, but you're not depleting from yourself. We were not created for people to drink from our cup. They're supposed to drink from the overflow of our cup, which means that you are filled, you're overflowing with finances, and then you're able to spill out your overflow in the places you're supposed to and you're responsible for. All right? My goodness. Listen. So I kind of want to touch it. What is a spender? Let me go to a spender. All right? We'll talk about these more in the weeks to come. But I do want to, all right, we're going to go to a saver because that's how she has it in her book. All right? So savers know exactly how much is coming in, how much is going out. They usually plan. Savers are very disciplined. They're very determined. They're very dedicated. All right? Savers are the ones who want that security and that control. Okay? I'm just going to touch on them today. We'll go into them next week. Spenders, all right? Spenders, they have their own unique characteristic. They're usually eager, they're erratic, they're enthusiastic, and they're easily persuaded. Spenders love the word sale. Y'all know a sale really isn't a sale. They jack the price up and make you think that you're getting something. And with a spender, they know that, but they still go do it. You know, everything's mental. All right. Investor. They're the ones that look for the ROI. All right. The ROI. Investors, let me see. They're usually players, meaning they're risk takers. Okay. They're patient. They got patience, like Job. They can invest money and they can just watch it, you know, go up and down because they know that their return is going to be high. All right. They're usually, they can participate with things. They're okay being a part of a group of something. And they're usually very passionate. Investors are passionate for what they're doing. They educate themselves. They learn about where they're putting their money, and they make sure that it's like on solid ground, on good foundation, where they're going to get a return on their investment. Okay. And then you have a giver. A giver, they're more, they're compassionate, and givers are the ones with a philanthropist heart. Okay. Now, they're usually very resourceful. They're usually very trusting. They're socialistic. Givers, their pleasure is more emotional. Okay, they get emotional pleasure. It makes them happy to be able to help someone. All right. They usually have big hearts. They're usually the ones, you know, if it's a fundraiser, a donation, if it's a campaign, and they're doing, you know, something, they're collecting money for a cause and a need. Givers are on that all day. All right. Each one of them have their own characteristic, and you got to figure out which one is your most dominant. We'll get into it next week, the next couple of weeks. I don't want y'all to focus on that. I want y'all to focus on the discipline, which is why I want y'all to go back and listen to this. Okay. Because you learn your dominant financial language, but you have to put the practice of good stewardship over yourself, or each one of these things It can be good and then bad. A giver, that's great that you have such a good heart. I'm a giver at heart. But when you do it reckless and you over here robbing Peter to pay Paul, that's not what God wants for us. That's not what my journey is supposed to look like. Okay? So you learn this characteristic of yourself, and then you learn how to become balanced in it so that you can become financially bilingual. All right? So, Meal Prep Monday, what do I want y'all to do this week? Get disciplined. How about that? Can we get disciplined? Can we not be lazy bones? And can we learn from the ants? All right? I want you to be intentional this week to write your desire. I told y'all to think about it last week, but write down your true desire of where you see yourself financially. And don't put it in a box. Don't write it down based on where you are. What is it that you truly desire to leave as a mark? I desire to walk out in the place of philanthropy. And now I am looking to what part of the kingdom I desire to build. I got to put it down there, okay? Because I believe I can sow into visions, but what is it that I believe is I'm purposed to do? All right? Write this thing down and then begin the steps of discipline and what that looks like for you. Each one of us know what makes us lazy, where we procrastinate. We're not in denial about ourselves. Okay? Take this week to think about it. And while you're doing it, stay focused, stay humble, stay positive. You should not be on a guilt trip or condemnation trip when you're writing this desire out. Okay? And don't share it with anyone yet. You do it because you don't need the naysayers or the negativity. What do you truly desire and where do you truly see yourself? And then once you do it, you go into your quiet place and you ask the Holy Spirit to allow you to think far more than you can think or even imagine on what's on that paper, because that is truly who you are. All right? So I am Nicole D. Jones. And again, stay focused, stay humble, stay positive. Write that desire in the place of the best version of you and do it unapologetically. Okay? I am Nicole D. Jones, and I want you to continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.